right now on 5 on your side at 10.
The mayor of St. Louis said the city would sue Kia and Hyundai if the companies didn't put a stop to the skyrocketing thefts. Tonight, the automakers answer to the mayor's threat.
Fall is here and it finally feels like it in St. Louis. We're tracking the kickoff rain chances for Friday Night Football.
But first tonight, helping mom bring in the groceries turns deadly.
He wasn't shy about pulling the gun, but I wouldn't think that you would pull it on your mom.
Tonight, a North St. Louis County man is in jail accused of killing his own mother. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Ann Allred. The shooting happened yesterday morning on Edgewood Boulevard in Northwoods. Our Laura Barczewski talked with the neighbors who say this was not the first time they heard gunshots come from that home. Laura?
It's not, and neighbors tell me police had been out to the house several times in the past. They even saw 22-year-old Tony Martin Jr. point his gun at family members before.
Just sitting on the porch, nice cup of coffee, was cool, and you hear commotion, but you really don't take it in because it's not your commotion and it's not happening to you. Shortly after that, I saw police everywhere, and I just stayed on my porch.
St. Louis County Police say just before 11 Wednesday morning, Tony Martin Jr. was arguing while putting away groceries with his mom, Christy Martin, when she touched his arm to get him to turn around, and he shot her in the chest, killing her.
I didn't hear anything as far as like the shots, but then the aftermath, the whole street was blocked off. Police and everybody was outside, and the family was over here. So it was kind of real upsetting to hear what had happened.
Police say Christy was dead when they arrived at the house. Neighbor Glenn Williams says he stayed away from Martin because he was worried for his family's safety.
It worried me a couple times because he actually was outside. Nobody was out here. He's shooting in the sky. And then the one guy that lives where the umbrella is said that he pulled a gun on his grandmama.
Williams says he has no idea how someone could do that to their mom.
I wouldn't think that you would pull it on your mom. You know, somebody that's taking care of you, you staying in her house, so really it shouldn't have been an argument at all. Whatever she said should have just been the final word.
Neighbor Lewis Brooks says he didn't know them well, but it's a very sad situation for the neighborhood.
It's just a tragedy that that young man took a turn in the worst. My heart goes out to the family.
Tony Martin Jr. is charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. He's being held on a $250,000 cash bond. And
Tonight, St. Louis police are looking for 4 people involved in a shooting at a South City diner. It happened just after midnight at the Courtesy Diner off Hampton. Investigators say a group of people ate and then left without paying. An employee chased them, but someone in the group fired gunshots into the diner and a bullet hit a customer in the thigh. She is expected to be okay. No one else is hurt.
New information tonight about the shooting that wounded a 13-year-old boy in North St. Louis. Investigators tell us the boy was working on a car with his dad on Riverview yesterday when they heard gunfire. Then they realized the teen had been shot. Dad drove his son to the nearby Family Dollar store for help. Tonight, the teen is recovering in the hospital. He is expected to survive. And so far, no arrests.
A Baldwin man already serving time in state prison for hiding a body in his backyard has now pleaded guilty to federal charges. Federal prosecutors say Quentin O'Brien Attaway admitted he provided fentanyl to the victim. The man overdosed and died outside Attaway's home on Holly Terrace Court in July 2020. Last year, Attaway was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in prison for abandoning a corpse. He now faces an additional 10 years in prison. Tonight, a passionate plea from a St. Louis development group. It's now calling on the city to do something about vagrants.
Developers say a homeless encampment at Laclede's Landing is posing a major threat to growth in that area. Our Brent Solomon is live at the landing now with a closer look.
Let's face it, back in the day, this area was booming. Developers want to bring that energy back, but they say something's getting in the way. Something they feel developers or the city isn't doing enough to fix.
We try to activate the neighborhood with more retail.
Meet Gretchen Mingus, her company working to breathe new life into St. Louis. With the focus right now on office space and more apartments in Laclede's Landing.
We have one that's almost complete that will be kicking off here within the next month. 2 currently under construction and 2 more getting ready to kick off here shortly.
Over the past year, though, she's noticed a growing problem.
We have people who defecate on our front patio. There's drug use. There's been fires. There's been broken windows.
We heard this loud boom, boom.
Last month, in the middle of the day,
Look out, and some guy is carrying this and just beats it into the window.
their office, one of several from downtown to the landing, a vandal randomly struck.
He was clearly cracked out.
They attribute it to this encampment along the riverfront, where a number of people have set up tents to live in.
You've got some current projects in development.
Correct.
Might this make you think twice about any additional?
Absolutely, 100%. And staying down here for the long haul.
I took that concern to the mayor's office.
We are sending down Department of Human Services social workers to engage with the community that's down at the riverfront to do a needs assessment, with the ultimate goal of connecting them to shelter or housing.
For Mingus, it's not happening fast enough.
To continue to act like the encampment doesn't exist because it's out of sight, out of mind, and you send one social worker down there once a week. I have a master's in social work. You're not helping anybody.
City leaders say they have been able to match 5 people with housing. They say that process will continue. By the way, the city owns the old Admiral building. That's where that homeless encampment is set up. The developer you just heard from says she thinks that building should be declared a public nuisance. Live in St. Louis, Brent Solomon, 5 on your side.
Tonight, people in Moscow Mills are being asked to boil their water and use it sparingly. This after an equipment failure at one of the city's water towers. City leaders say supply issues delayed a fix. Residents are now asked to boil their water until noon on Saturday. The mayor says these water issues started 6 months ago.
Everything has a life cycle, and some of the stuff is beginning to hit the end of the life cycle, and we're addressing that. There are systems out there that monitor the condition of the well, the condition of the towers.
And the city is also asking residents to conserve water. The school day has been cut shorter in St. Louis public schools, all because of the ongoing bus driver shortage. Starting Monday, October 3rd, students at first tier school will be dismissed 10 minutes earlier at 1:57 instead of 2:07. In addition, Malincrot Academy will shift its school day from 9:20 a.m. to 4:17 p.m. School officials say this will allow them to add more bus routes.
We are 47 days away from Election Day, and time is running out to make sure your voter registration is up to date. Questions came into the Verified team about moving to a new county or a new election jurisdiction in Missouri and making sure you're still registered to vote. Between the primary election in August and the general election coming up in November, the election rules in Missouri changed. Let's verify. After the primary election, online posts popped up from frustrated Missourians who had moved recently. Missed the deadline, so he can't vote. And you literally lose your voting privilege. It prompted the question, what should you do about your voter registration if you move to a different county? Our sources, Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft and 3 election directors from St. Louis and St. Charles counties. Some of Missouri's election laws changed as of August 28, 2022. After the primary. Under the old law, you had to update your address 4 Wednesdays before the election. If you missed that deadline, you were turned away at the polls. Under the new law, that deadline does not apply to already registered voters who moved to a new county. You can update your address online, by mail, or by going in person to any of these places. There is one caveat. If it's election day, there is only one place an already registered voter can update their address, and that's the county's election headquarters. You'll also need to bring a photo ID.
Then you need to go to the office because they have the direct connection to the statewide voter registration system there, and they can find your prior registration and change it. That way we can make sure that you didn't vote at your old place and now you're trying to vote at a second place.
We can verify if you're a registered voter in Missouri who moves to a new county, you can update your address anytime leading up to an election. Secretary Ashcroft does emphasize earlier is better always when it comes to updating your address. Missouri's new election law, however, did not remove that deadline for people registering to vote for the first time. You must register 4 Wednesdays before the election, and for the upcoming general, that deadline is October 12th. What can I verify for you? Send an email, verify@ksdk.com.
7,000 runners took over the streets of downtown St. Louis for the city's Healthiest Happy Hour. The 2022 Biz Dash 5K kicked off from the new Centene Stadium. Teams from several companies competed, including Five on Your Side. Money raised benefits the St. Louis Sports Foundation. Tonight, Hyundai and Kia pumping the brakes on the mayor's threats of a lawsuit.
Are their responses enough? Well, we just have to see.
In an I-Team exclusive, while the automakers say they're not responsible for skyrocketing car thefts. A scare in the air. Sparks fly from a passenger flight. The reason the Boeing 777 didn't make an emergency landing for another 90 minutes.
You might need the rain gear if you're going to Friday night high school football, but there are changes ahead for the weekend.
Caught on camera, flames shooting out of a commercial jetliner, the fiery sparks slowly falling to the ground. The United Airlines flight just left Newark in New Jersey. The Boeing 777 was forced to make an emergency landing, but only after circling over the Atlantic for 90 minutes to burn off fuel. No one on the plane or the ground was hurt.
A wonderful update tonight. The 8-year-old boy wounded in the 4th of July parade mass shooting in Highland Park, Illinois, is finally home. Cooper Roberts spent more than 2 months undergoing treatment. He and his twin brother Luke were among the dozens of people shot that day. 7 people were killed. Cooper's spinal cord was severely damaged. He's now in a wheelchair, but he refuses to give up on playing sports. He's now learning how to play wheelchair tennis. Well, tonight a response from Hyundai and Kia after skyrocketing car thefts and the city's threat to sue.
The I-Team has learned the automakers have different ideas on how to stop the thefts of their cars. Our Christine Byers asked Mayor Tashara Jones, what's next?
The deadline is up, and Hyundai and Kia have responded to Mayor Tashara Jones's demand for them to recall their vehicles and install anti-theft technology. The I-Team obtained responses from both automakers. Kia America wrote, "We strongly disagree with your statement that the subset of our vehicles that do not contain immobilizers are defective." Hyundai Motor America's chief legal officer wrote, "These thefts are unfortunately being caused by criminal acts popularized through social media. Accordingly, there is no basis for a claim of public nuisance against Hyundai." Are their responses enough?
Well, we just have to see. This is the first step again, and they'll have a conversation with our city attorneys, and we'll see what the next steps are after that.
Hyundai and Kia say they are making anti-theft technology standard on all of their new vehicles now, even though they don't believe it's a requirement. But thousands of Hyundais made between 2011 and 2021 and Kias made between 2015 and 2021 didn't have it. And they're disappearing from St. Louis streets at record rates.
Those who spent their their hard-earned money to buy a vehicle that was stolen as a result of, something that wasn't there that was standard in another vehicle, I'd like to see them made whole somehow.
I checked in with the St. Louis Police Department earlier today, and they told me nearly 2,409 Hyundais and Kias have been stolen so far this year. That's more than half of all cars stolen. Last year, those models only made up 7% of thefts. Mayor Jones says she's also working with mayors across the country on the issue as well, but she wouldn't say whether legal action is part of her next move.
If you have a tip for the Five on Your Side I-Team, call us at 314-444-5231 or email 5onyourside@ksdk.com. All calls and correspondence will be kept confidential.
Starting tomorrow, you can get a taste of St. Louis. The 17th annual Taste of St. Louis gets underway at Ballpark Village. It'll feature 20 local restaurants serving up all types of food like Mexican, Asian, barbecue, and Cajun.
This is a sampling of the culture of this town, and we have just some of the greats of St. Louis here that you can come for just a few bucks. If this was a concert, these are the rock stars.
There will also be live music. The Taste of St. Louis opens tomorrow at 4 p.m., runs through Sunday. Admission is free. All you need is some money for food and drink. And a heads up, if you're coming downtown from I-44 this weekend, all lanes between the Stan Musial Bridge and the 4455 split are closing tomorrow night at 7. Ramps to Interstate 64 are also closing at the river. Detours will be posted in the area, and everything should reopen before the Monday morning rush hour.
Within the last 2 hours, fall officially arrived. And today, Eckerts announced the return of its Pick Your Own Pumpkin season. Starting Saturday, the pumpkin patch at the Belleville Farm will be open daily. You can pick your gourd at the Grafton Farm Tuesday through Sundays and Wednesdays through Sundays at Eckerts Millstadt location. For more information on Eckerts and fall activities around our area, text the word fall to 314-425-5355.
Well, there's already a fall chill in the air, so we sent Scott up to the weather deck tonight.
I said, Scott, are you going to be cold? Do you need a jacket? You said
No,
it's only in the 60s, Ann.
Yeah, it's like around 60. It's not bad at all up here. It's really comfortable, actually. And you know, we had that breeze earlier when we were doing the St. Louis Biz Ash 5K earlier. I didn't actually run it. I was just standing there talking about it. But, you know, we were down there and there was pretty good breeze blowing. That settled down a lot this evening, but it is cool. But since it's the first evening of fall, why not a fall picture? We found some color from one of our weather watchers. Sue sent this in from Burns Mill. How about that? Some fall color. They're already in the leaves on the trees. And you know what? I think because of the heat and humidity and the lack of rain we had for a while this summer, we may have a faster fall leaf drop than we normally do. Hey, we'd love you to join our Weather Watchers Facebook group. We're 5 on Your Side Weather Watchers. Just search for us on Facebook. This evening, skies are still mostly cloudy, right around 60 degrees in St. Louis. Low 70s earlier today. We have a strip of showers showing up on the radar screen, but the air is so dry. That rain is really stretching back towards mid-Missouri into northwest Missouri. The air's just so dry, though. Most of that's not reaching the ground. Look at some of the outlying areas. Warrenton's already down to 54 right now. Cook Station's 56. It's 57 over in Flora and Vandalia at the moment. Scott Air Force Base at 58. You know, with the cooler temperatures, we'll keep the mosquito forecast in that medium category tomorrow, plus the fact we have a couple of shower chances coming tomorrow afternoon. Here's a live look right now downtown, 60 degrees. Your dew point is 45. We were up to 73 degrees this afternoon in St. Louis. We'll drop a few more degrees, upper 40s to lower 50s overnight. It stays mostly cloudy. Let's get you started with Futurecast tomorrow morning. Fair amount of clouds around. In fact, there'll be a little bit of sunshine breaking through the clouds early in the morning, and then the clouds thicken, and we'll have a chance for showers developing midday into the afternoon. They'll be scattered around. None of this looks all that heavy, but doggone it, it could happen during Friday night football, especially along the north of 70. So we'll be watching that for tomorrow evening. Since there's no thunder and lightning, probably don't have to worry about anything as far as canceling games or going into weather delays. For Saturday, all that rain pushes away. Mid-80s for highs on Saturday. There is a cold front that comes through Saturday evening, and so Sunday it's not quite as warm. It's breezy, but it's also dry and bright around St. Louis. And honestly, look at this 10-day forecast. Could it get any better? You know, you've got a bump on Saturday where we're back into the mid-80s, and then after that, you're cooling back into the 70s next week. We'll have lows away from town down into the 40s in the morning. You could make a case for turning on the furnace, perhaps.
Ooh, Things are really changing. All right, Scotty, thank you.
Let's get to Frank. He is live in San Diego tonight.
Well, Ann, we were hoping for 2 big home runs in the city of San Diego. We got them, but they were by the wrong players. We'll have the latest on a thrilling Cardinals victory and the latest on Albert Pujols when we come back.
Chasing 700 is sponsored by CarShield.
And welcome to San Diego. On paper, it's just a regular season victory on a Thursday afternoon in San Diego. But this one felt a little bit different, a little bit more important. You see, if you lose this game, it's 4 losses in a row, and you're about to play the best team on the planet Earth. So you never know what could happen. What did happen was this jolt of lightning here in the 5th inning by Lars Nootbaar, a solo shot which ended a 31-inning scoreless streak for the Cardinals, and the St. Louis fans chanted "Noot" as he galloped around the bases. A few minutes later, the Padres got to see the best version of Jack Flaherty all season long. He finished his 6th and final inning with 2 Ks, overall 9 strikeouts, and 2 earned runs allowed. And in the 7th, it was the sweet swing of Brendan Donovan that had the ball soaring into the San Diego air. A grand slam for the icy cool rookie, who said the first thing he thought as he started his trot, don't miss touching the bases.
Just trying to hit a fly ball to the big part of the field, trying to get one across, cut the lead a little bit, and it just kind of ran into my barrel a little bit more than I thought it would. So, I mean, I was still running hard. You never know. So.
And what it does for the club at this point, it's a team that had been shut out for 3 consecutive games, and Albert was one of the first people to greet you there. What a feeling.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I think I said it was one of the bigger swings that I've had this year, so that was cool for me.
You know, some parts were good, some parts were bad. It was a little spotty, but as the game went on, felt like, you know, it's nice to get better as the game went on, which is something that, you know, you want to be able to see as the pitch count goes up and as you get deeper into the game.
When he feels in control and command of his stuff, that's what he's able to do. He'll get the punch out. He's good throwing anything at any count, but it's establishing that fastball that allows all that other stuff to play. So today was a really good version of Jack.
The Cardinals won the game 5-4. Albert Pujols did not homer, but it wasn't because of a lack of trying. Albert basically hit 3 balls to the track and wall, including this cannon that came off the bat 108 miles per hour. It traveled 335 feet, one of the longest singles of his career. Later, he hit one 338 feet. His teammates are helpless and in awe of this 42-year-old icon.
He's the machine, and you know, nothing surprised me at this point. You know, and every ball he hits, I expect to go out. You know, that's just who he is and what he's doing. But it's just so impressive. You know, obviously now I'm getting a glimpse of it in person. You know, for this year, but you know, to see what he's done and to obviously, you know, the accolades that he's accumulated over his career, it's unbelievable. And so, for me to see a glimpse of it this year and to see how he's doing it, I don't want to say it's unbelievable because it's Albert, but you know, it's pretty incredible.
What also was incredible was Colton Wong. He homered 3 times today against the Reds, and the Brewers win the game 5-1, so the Cardinal magic number is 5. While the baseball season has hit the stretch run, the hockey season is approaching the gates. How about this? The Blues opened up training camp today, and they will play their first game on Saturday night. And it will be a team with some new faces this season. There are new additions like forward Noel Ashari and goaltender Thomas Greiss, brought in to back up Jordan Binnington. Things will look a bit different this season, especially with veteran forward David Perron, now a Detroit Red Wing. But the Blues know losing Perron is all part of the business of hockey.
Lose pieces, you gain pieces. Yeah, we're ready to prove some people wrong and be a part of a good hockey team this year in a tough division.
He was a very good player here for us, and a very good teammate. You know, but that's that's the way the game goes with salary cap and things like that. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. I mean, but he contributed to this hockey team, and he was a big part of us winning the championship and being a real good player and driving our culture and being a good teammate here.
And a final baseball thought. After the game, the St. Louis Cardinals got on a bus to drive to Los Angeles. They drove on Highway 5, Pujols' number. One of the first stadiums they passed was Anaheim Stadium, where Albert spent a decade. And tomorrow, in Dodger Stadium, where he played last season. It's 11 more games with the potential of 44 more at-bats. All we need is 2 swings to 700 home runs. Man, is this fun to cover. I'm Frank Cusimano reporting in San Diego. Let's send it back.
And Frank, talk about it's difficult to hit home runs in San Diego. It seemed both those shots that Albert hit today could get out, but I don't know, the ballpark seems to hold those home runs.
Mike, it's one of the toughest home run parks in the National League, and I promise you, on the 338-foot shot, there were 30,000 people here, and I think about 12,000 Cardinal fans. We all thought it was gone. He's been ever so close. But here's the good news is, he is really hitting the ball. A lot of people questioned if he should play today, day game after a night game, because he's 42 years old. He's the Cardinals' best hitter.
Right.
He's playing every game,
right.
Not to get to 700, but because the Cardinals need to win this thing.
Right.
He is their best hitter right now.
They finally got some runs today. Yep. All right, Frank, thanks very much.
Coming up, there could be one less side dish at your Thanksgiving dinner table this year. The reason you may not hear, pass the cranberries.
Well, it's only the first day of fall, and already there are concerns about a Thanksgiving staple. Farmers are warning about a possible cranberry shortage because of extreme drought conditions. They're hoping for more rain before next month's harvest.
So maybe not. We'll see. We're more than 3 months away from Christmas, but holiday deals are just days away. Walmart says it will start offering major discounts on toys, electronics, and home decor in October. The retailer is also making changes to its return policy, giving people more time to return gifts. A lot of major retailers did that last year, too.
Yeah. There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Tonight, Jimmy has Tyler Perry and singer Blood Orange. Have a great tomorrow.